Hi guys, welcome again to my channel. Naturally-Roshani here again with another video. Thank you so much for your support. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much for your support. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. Do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification button to get notified when I do upload a new video. Now I'm here again with part 2. It is my testimony. And guys, this testimony is going to lead on to my deliverance. That's the whole point of me doing this my testimonies. I gotta start from the beginning so you all will understand where I am coming from, and God is good. So I promised you guys that I will be coming with a part 2. I didn't want to keep you guys waiting, so here I am. So I'm going to start from where I left off, which was when we moved from Mombasa back to Nairobi, getting ready to come to America. So we said goodbye to our families, and again, we were staying at Hotel Milimani. That's where we were staying in order to come to America. So we journeyed our way to America. I would probably I know we used the KLM airlines, and then I don't know where we stopped at in order to change the airplanes in order to come to America. So the last plane that we used was the Northwest Airlines, and we were in Washington DC in 1997. I'm going to leave off the month in the year just for privacy reasons, but yeah, so in 1997 in June we landed in America in Washington DC, and a family came to welcome us in America because again, my mom's husband came here through diplomatic status, so that's why we were here through diplomatic status. So we had a family from the Kenyan embassy that took us from the airport and transported us to their house, where we stayed for, I don't remember if it was a couple of days or just one day. After staying there in their house, we were dropped off to our address in Bethesda Marland in Wilson Lane. So that was our new place, and again, America was very different. It was hot at that time because we came in the summertime. It was very, very hot, and again, yeah, so we lived life. We went to Sidwell Summer School. That is where all the Kenyan embassy children were going to were spending their summertime, was in a school called Sidwell Summer School here in Washington DC. So as we lived, life went on, and I'm just going to say what I remember in that house, or in that particular period of in that house. So that's the time where yeah, we began. I enjoyed the Sidwell Summer School program. We had so much fun. We learned how to swim. We had like arts and crafts. We had like so many different things that we were doing in that school. And then I also was having trouble with my eyes when I came to America. So I was taken to a hospital whereby I was treated. I was given some eye drops, but for some reason I don't think those eye drops were working. Well, let me just say they were working, because they were eye drops you're supposed to use them for. It's supposed to be a permanent use of eye drops in order for the eyes to get better. That's what I've learned because I'm in the medical field. So I remember I was getting really annoyed. I was in pain with my eyes because my eyes was very, very red. Like I said, my white part was brown. It was like my skin color. That's how bad it was. So I remember I prayed to God. I told God that I wanted to get better. I remember I kneeled down on the bed and I told God, I didn't really say Jesus. I just said, God, I just want to be better. I want to see again. I want this pain to leave my eyes. And guess what? Like I realized that a couple of days I was like, like I was getting better. Like my eyes were clearing out, and that is how I stopped using the eye drops, because apparently my eyes, miraculously, God healed my eyes. So that's one part of that's something else that I never told anyone. yeah. Yeah, so that's how God healed my eyes. So I stopped using the eye drops, so that was a good thing. And then yeah, so life went on in that house. Life went on, and then now things starting to turn downhill when my mom's husband began to have me do things for him. Like, you know, he would be downstairs in the basement, you know, in the office or whatever, and he would ask me for a cup of water, and I'd bring the water. When I bring the water downstairs, he would like give me, like, he would stare at me like for a minute. You know, when I said for a minute, you know what I mean. Like, he would really literally like stay there looking at me with some weird eyes or whatever, and he would just tell me to go back upstairs. So I would go back upstairs. I didn't really think of anything because I was a young girl at that time. I was like 9.5, because I remember we came in June. My birthday is in August, so I was 9.5. So yeah, so I was a small girl. I was a young girl, so I didn't understand what was going on. So one time, so this is where it all started. This is where everything just started going downhill. So one time I was in my room, and I was just there, and then he came to the bedroom and he was like, oh, I can make you feel better or something like that. And I'm like, I was confused. Like, I don't know what he meant. Like, he can make me feel better or whatever. But okay, so let me move back. So so before that, I think I had already started going to school. 5th grade, I went to a school called Burning Tree Elementary School in Bethesda, Maryland. I went to a public school. So yeah, so I was going there every day. You know, we all know how the public schools are. The school bus comes in and picks you up, take you to school. And I was a loner. I didn't have any much friends. I was like the only black girl in the class. Everybody else was either Caucasian or like Asian. So I was the only black girl in the class. I didn't understand. Like, I didn't really know what was going on because I was very young, you know, my mind had not yet, matured, because I came from a foreign country. I had come from Kenya to a foreign country, so life was a little different. You know, people were different, the culture was different. Sometimes I don't even know how I passed 5th grade, because like some things that we were doing, like the spelling, it was very hard for me because English was not my first language. Well, we didn't really speak English like that in Kenya, but we did speak English though, but not as much as here. And that's when I remember, like, I also learned that my name was Pauline, because I thought it was Roshani. In Kenya, I was using Roshani as my, well, Roshani is my middle name, but I was using that name as my first name. So when I came here, I had to change my name to Pauline. I was told that, well, my mom said that my name is Pauline, and that's what I started using, Pauline. That's when I said Pauline Roshani, because they are both my real names. They're not fake names, they're real names. So yes, that's one part of, that's the other thing that I had to learn, to use my Pauline instead of Roshani. Again, lunches were very different. Like lunchtime, like Fridays were my best time because we were eating pizza and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was my favorite time, was Fridays. We had pizza. We also had to go to bar tea. It was like an after school care. We played games, we played bingo, we played all kind of, we watched movies. It was a pretty good, like in school, it was awesome. So I remember one time we were, you know, like in 5th grade, you guys know here in America, there is a time where you have to learn about sexual abuse. Okay, there is where you learn about drugs and abuse, you learn about sexual abuse. So we had already learned about the DARE. I forget what the, like DARE, I forget what that, I think it's drugs, DARE, drugs, some I forget what it means, but I'm gonna put it down here. But what we learned about drugs and how to say no if somebody is pressuring you to take drugs or to take anything that is considered inappropriate, okay, like alcohol and like these street drugs and stuff like that. So we learned to say no, peer pressure in 5th grade, so that was good. So I learned about that. But the only thing that came to be different was when we had to learn about sexual abuse. Now, you know, as a child, you have to get parental consent, right? So we had a paper where like it said, you know, this is what we're gonna be learning. Do you give your child permission to learn these things? I gave it to my mom and her husband, and obviously they said no. They signed no. I would not like my child to learn about this. So when other people were learning about the abuse and sexual abuse and how to say no to these kind of things, or like when there's pressure and when somebody's forcing you to have sex, or someone is inappropriately touching you or whatever, you can say no, or you can report it to the authorities, or you can report it to somebody that is higher than you. You could either report it to the teacher, report it to another parent, report it to somebody that you trust. Well, guess what? I did that part. I was the only child in that class in 5th grade that when everybody else was learning about that, I was in the library playing Captain America. So I was in the library either reading books or playing Captain America on the computer. Now back home, I was also, the funny thing is, I was going through the same thing that people were learning in class not to tolerate. I was slowly getting into that abuse. Like I said, when the man said, when he was downstairs, he would ask me for a cup of water or something. A glass of water. I would bring it downstairs for him in the basement, but then he would give me a weird look, like he was really staring at me, like he was thinking over something. He was thinking something, but he can't do. He can't do it or whatever. So he would tell me to go back upstairs. And it was like this, it was like that, but not every time. It was just some days. Now that's where everything went down, was when, like, I was in my bedroom. I was in the bedroom. I don't know what I was probably not doing anything. I was just sitting there, I remember. And then he came, he was like, I can feel bad, I can make you feel better or something. And I was confused as to what he meant by he can make me feel better. You know, I was confused. I don't know what he meant. And then he left. And then after that, I don't remember too much about. That's like the part I remember, like vividly. I remember very well in my mind. So I think a year or two later, we moved to a different address within the same neighborhood in Bethesda, Maryland. We moved to a different house. Now this time, this house was bigger. It had more rooms. It had a basement, it had an attic, it had a big living room, it had a dining table, it had a dining room, it had a big kitchen, and all that stuff. And sometimes many months ago, I would have dreams about this house, but we're not going to talk about that now. But so that's when everything went down, like everything just starting to like go down the hill and everything. So I was still in 5th grade. I was still in 5th grade. I remember this when everything, like the abuse began to accelerate. When I say abuse, I mean sexual abuse, sexual harassment, and all that bad things, all that nasty stuff that should never happen to a child. Okay, like, yes. So now this is when things begin to like I said, things begin to go downhill. Again, he would ask me to come downstairs, especially when everybody else would, like when my sister and my brother were upstairs doing their own thing. He would ask me to come downstairs and bring water for him, or it could be water, it could be I remember Coca-Cola, the soda in a glass. So, and it would be like at nighttime too. It won't be in the daytime. So I'd bring it downstairs, and he would give me a weird look, and he would ask me to go upstairs. Okay, I had to go upstairs. And this one time he kind of like succeeded, and that time I think he was half drunk or something. So but I remember he knew what he was doing. I can't say that he don't know what he was doing. He was like, he consciously knew what he was doing. So he asked me to come downstairs with water. I remember I had my pajamas, and those pajamas were they had like cars, like red and blue cars pajamas. I remember very, very well. And I came downstairs. It was a computer room, because yeah, it was. So come downstairs, and there was a big room in the front, and on this side or whatever, but on the side it was a laundry room. And when you go on the hallway, there's a garage. Before the garage, there was an extra room, and right across the extra room there was another room that was a computer room, or the office, whatever. And besides the computer room was a bathroom. So I brought the water down the computer room, and that's when like he tried to pin me, like he tried to pin me on the wall and try to force himself on me or whatever. And I was trying to push him away, but I was so skinny. I was very small, like, yeah, very small and skinny. So I tried to push him up, but he overcome me or whatever. And like that's when like the abuse, like he like literally abused me, like sexually abused me, like penetrating me, a 9-year-old. Like what the heck is wrong with these people? Like so he penetrated and everything. So like so he pushed me on the wall, and then he pushed him, like he dragged me on the other bedroom, and there was a bed there. There was a bed in the bedroom, and like I can literally like smell the smell in that room. Like you know how like you can smell something, like you can smell a place. Like I can literally, like that smell is in my room, is in my nose right now. So yeah, I could. So he pinned me down on the bed, and like so yeah, the abuse, that's when he penetrated and he did his act or whatever. And then to be honest, I don't know how I felt at that time, because I was a young child. Like I don't know what was going on, to be honest, but not as a grown woman. Like, you know, I'd be lying if I say like it was, I can't stay here and describe it to you because it's just nasty. But that was when abuse began to happen. And he would do this like it wasn't every day, but it was like some days before this happened. I forgot, before all this abuse began, before, I'm sorry, somebody's calling me. Before this abuse began, I remember he used to ask me to pee in a cup, in one of these little cups, and I would pee in a cup, and he would, I don't know where he would take the pee. Like I have no idea. This is when we used to live in the other house. I don't know where he would take that pee. Like I don't even know. And then so we moved on to this other house in the same neighborhood, but it's, again, like I said, it was a bigger house. So we moved on there, and then sometimes he began with also asking me to pee in the cup. I don't know where that pee would be going, or to be honest, and I don't care. So those abuse, that's how the abuse began. It accelerated. The same thing. I don't want to talk about it too much. The funny thing is I can't cry on that because I'm healing, and I'm so happy that God has done a great thing. But other than that, so one time that's when he actually told me that if I told anybody, that he was going to send me back in Kenya, and I was going to live in his village, where when I go to his village, where he's from, that I was going to be catering on the cows and the goats. And you know, when you're from Africa, you don't want to be doing that. That's like no, like you don't want to be catering in no cow. You don't want to be catering into cows and fetching water with them donkeys, walking all them long ways, going to the going to the shamba. The shamba is a farm where like you kind of like Lima, I don't know how you call that in English. Dig the ground, cater the ground. As a child, that is something that you want to do. Okay, you want to be in school, learning and creating a future for yourself. So when he said that, I got scared. I was like, I don't want to go back to Kenya, and especially I don't want to go back to where he's from. Yeah, so that's when I was quiet. I didn't say anything because I was threatened, and you know, the abuse kept going. And I don't want to go into details and stuff like that because it's just too personal. Like sometimes I would like just the yuckiness of the sperm just coming out of me. It was just disgusting, and I'm so happy that God has healed me to the point where I cannot cry, because when I was to the police, telling to the police and the detective, I was crying, I was bawling because I was not healed yet. But now I am fully healed, so I'm not going to cry. I'm going to try my best not to cry. So when those things were coming out of my, you know, my private part, it was very disgusting. As a child, as a 5th grader, going on to 6th grade, I was going through that from 1997 to 1999 when my aunt came to live with us. So that's what I was going through. And the bad thing is, this is where it hurts the most, and I try not to cry, but when I told my own mother about it, she would beat me instead. Like, let me tell y'all, if a child goes through sexual abuse or any kind of abuse, okay, There are some signs that you are not to ignore. If you're smart, there are some signs that you see a child when they're going through. You've got to ask yourself questions like, why is this child doing this? Why are they like this? Why are they acting like this? You understand? You start asking them questions instead of you beating them and spanking them with anger. You're supposed to be asking questions. I remember very well that, you know, whenever like I was around, my mother always like get up and like I would roll up my shirt like this, right? And then I don't know if that would get her so angry or whatever, and then, you know, she would beat me like beat me so much and stuff like that. And you know, when all this is going on, we were also going to the embassy sometimes on Saturdays. He would say we're going to learn, okay, like we were going to do a homework or class. Or but guess what, when we went to the embassy, and I hate that place with passion, but thank God they're renovating that place. So when we went to the embassy of Kenya, he would literally put me in a different room while he put my other siblings, my brother and my sister, in 2 different rooms. And he would always order Chinese, and I remember he would order Chinese, like the rice and the beef, and he would order Coca-Cola, and then there was something that he would always put on my drink. It was a powder. He would take the powder and he would put it in my drink. He would like mix it all up and he would tell me to drink. And like seriously, like in this old building that like the windows were very dark, so you couldn't even, people inside couldn't see you, but you could see outside, right? And there was an old TV or computer, or no, it was a TV and had a VCR, and then there was like a small bed or whatever, and some, you know, after drinking, he would tell me to drink that drink, so I would drink it, and he would push you on that little bed. And one time he put like porn, like that's the first time I saw porn, and it was so disgusting. Like, I was so confused. I felt so dirty. Like I could tell my conscience, like that's how you know God puts your conscience, you feel violated. That's the first time I felt violated, when I saw those acts as a child, like as a 10-year-old child, okay? And again, the same act happened, and my underwear was all like yucky and really disgusting. And again, when I told my mother, guess what happened? She'd beat me again. She would beat me, and I don't know why she would beat me. I really, to this day, I still don't know why she did that. Only God knows. God knows people's hearts. I don't know. But yeah, she would beat me, and it would be like the same cycle, until when my aunt came. When my aunt came, she came in 1999. When my aunt came in, and mind you, I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell anyone in school. I didn't tell anyone. The only person that I told was my mother. And instead of her protecting the child, her child or whatever, she did not protect me. She beat me. She did all kinds. She was always angry. Just I don't understand. You understand? I don't understand. But my aunt came in 1999, and when my aunt came in 1999, that's when that's how you know love. That's how you know when somebody loves you, when someone, they can tell that you're different. My aunt, when she came, as soon as she saw me, she knew something was not right with me. And the reason why I'm crying is not because I'm hurt. I'm crying because I know for a fact that my aunt loves me. When she said that she does. You understand? So that is when she realized that something was not right. And I remember when we used to go to the mall sometimes. We used to go to the mall like as a whole family, before my aunt came. We used to go to the mall. So that particular Saturday, I told him I didn't want to go to the mall. I want to stay with my aunt in the house, because she didn't want to go either. So I stayed with her at that day, and that's when she asked me, what is going on? How come you look like this? How come you don't look happy? How come you look so thin? And stuff like that. Yeah, and sometimes I did not eat because of punishment from my mother. Sometimes I wouldn't eat because she would punish me. I'm not gonna eat today, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so that's one of the stuff. But anyways, so that's when she asked me what's going on, and I didn't want to tell her at first, because I told her, if I tell you, I want you not to tell anyone, because I don't want to go back to Kenya. I want to stay here. So I wrote it on a piece of paper that this is what happening. And when she read it, she cried. Obviously she was hurt. She didn't understand. She was confused. And so when everybody came back, she confronted my mother, like, why is this happening? This, how come, you know, she didn't tell you this, da 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 da. And then again, my mom, I don't know, with her anger, I don't know, she pushed her, and she was like, you know what, you're one of them too. So when that happened, that's when I remember I told my aunt, and my aunt threatened him, if you don't stop doing this, she's gonna go to the police. And mind you, at that time, my aunt, she didn't know anything about the American law. She didn't know anything about American police. She didn't know anything about the law and what goes on in America. You know, she was just a newbie in America, right? But that's how you know when somebody loves you. They protect you. She said that if he don't stop, she was going to the police. You know, that's the love, you understand? That's it just kicks in. When you love someone, it just kicks in, you understand? So yes, so that's when everything stopped. That's when there was peace in the house. That's when, well, at least for me, in my part, in my situation, it was good. That there was no more raping, there was no more sexual harassment, like touching of the butt, because sometimes he would smack my butt. I don't understand. Like, so that's when everything, at least at that part, everything had stopped, and you know, life began to be better. You know, my aunt, again, she took care of us. You know, she would bathe us and stuff like that. And I know I almost forgot one particular thing that my aunt knew that I was not lying. Was one time when we went to the embassy. At that time, my aunt, since I had already told my aunt what was going on, so my aunt said, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, because she wanted to see, I guess, if I'm telling the truth, since her sister thought I'm lying or whatever. So at that time, when we were going to the embassy that Saturday, my aunt actually dressed me. She dressed me. She picked the clothes that I was gonna wear that day. She picked my underwear, she picked my clothes and everything. Like underwear, I mean the panties, the under panties. She picked it out for me, and I wore it. The panties, I don't remember the color, but she probably do remember, but I don't remember the color or anything. But she picked it up for me, and we went to the embassy that day. The same thing happened, but at this time there was a cut in my underwear, where he literally cut my underwear, and he forced himself on me again. And so when I came back, my aunt found out there was a cut in my underwear, and she knew that I wasn't lying. And I wish, you know, she would be here with me to attest to this. But this is me. I choose to say that because there's a lot of women going through the same thing as I went through, and guess what, their mothers will never open up because they want to support their husbands, or they love them too much. But to each their own, you know. But so that's one of the things that my aunt knew, that I was not lying, I was telling the truth. You know, so it's a lot of things that I'm not saying because it's just disgusting, and it's like you guys kind of get the point. You kind of put yourself in the situation and understand rape. You understand? You know, a lot of men do this to their own, to their stepdaughters, or even, you know, to their stepsons. You know, even boys go through this abuse, not only girls. So some men are just dirty. They're criminals. They need to be in jail. Matter of fact, they are a danger to the community. They don't need to be roaming around. So when my aunt came, that's when everything stopped, because she threatened him to stop. If he don't stop, she was going to go to the police. And guess what, he stopped doing it. So I'm going to end there for today, because my video is like almost 40 minutes right now. It's 31 minutes and 26 seconds. So I'm going to stop there. When my aunt came, everything stopped, but I was still going through a lot of damage. And now I'm going to go into, next time when I come in, I'm going to go in deep of what rape does to a child, and what it does to their minds, and what it does to your mental health. So, and then I will progress on, because yeah, it's a long testimony, and I can't sit here and tell you the whole thing, because then it's gonna be like 3-4 hours. So next time I will be here with part 3. Thank you guys for watching this, and I will see you on my next part. Bye bye.